State's most watched news starts now.
Authorities have filed charges against a Joplin woman involved in a crash that killed 2 people. This is KOAM News at 6. The crash happened at 28th and Connecticut in Joplin yesterday afternoon. Investigators say 30-year-old Rita Glasgow was intoxicated when she drove a reportedly stolen pickup through a stop sign and hit the side of an SUV. 2 people in that SUV were killed. They are 55-year-old Terry Koppel and 48-year-old Rhonda Koppel, both of Joplin. Glasgow was hospitalized in serious condition. Authorities filed various charges against Glasgow, including driving while intoxicated, death of 2 or more, possession of a controlled substance, and tampering with a motor vehicle. Glasgow previously had active warrants for tampering with a motor vehicle and drug trafficking. More than 29 years after the disappearance of a woman in Cherokee County, Kansas, the reward is increased for information that leads to the recovery of her remains. Carol Sullins was 18 years old when she disappeared from the Galena nightclub where she worked back in August of 1991. In 2002, Donald Kidwell was sentenced for his role in Sullins' death as part of a plea agreement, but Sullins' remains were never found. Well, now a private donor has increased the reward to $20,000 for information that leads to those remains. Tips should go to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. A judge sentences a former Carl Junction, Missouri school bus driver who had sexual contact with a student. As part of a plea deal, Dennis Frakes gets a 4-year prison term. Frakes had told investigators that beginning in 2015, while working as a bus driver, he had sexual contact with a 15-year-old Carl Junction High School student. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather. Doug.
Actually, it turned out to be a pretty good Monday for us. Over the past day and a half, we've been able to melt off all the snow, all the ice. Cold start, 26. I had some really thick fog last night, but we did make it up to 51 during the afternoon, well above our average high of 44 degrees. Pretty much clear skies across the region. We had some clouds earlier today with a weak little system that rotated through, and that did drop a cold front through the area. So behind it, we got these northwesterly winds. So that's why we're going to be cold tonight. It's still not bad out there. Most of us into low to mid 40s. And the winds aren't as strong as what we had earlier today, so kind of a light northwesterly wind at about 5 to 10. Throughout the evening hours, we'll continue to slide back through the 40s, 30s, down into the mid-20s. Tomorrow looks great. We're going to look at that, plus our next storm system moving in on Wednesday here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Doug. There was an external review requested by the Missouri Veterans Commission to investigate the cause of a prolonged outbreak of COVID-19 at Missouri veterans' homes. And that review has now been released. Since the release of the investigation, the chairman of the commission resigned. KOAM's Chris Warner reviewed a copy of this report and has more.
In September of 2020, the veterans' homes operated by the Missouri Veterans Commission experienced a prolonged outbreak of COVID-19. As of November 13th of last year, there had been 103 deaths. So the commission requested an independent investigation into the cause and the commission's response. The investigation was concluded and the report released. However, a report from the Associated Press says chairman of the commission, Tim Noonan, resisted releasing the entire report until Attorney General Eric Schmidt directed him to do so. The results of the investigation say at the state level, the MVC failed to recognize the outbreak, failed to plan for an extensive outbreak, and failed to respond to the outbreak. The report broke down each veterans home in the state and their individual response. Locally, at the Mount Vernon home, the report noted the home had instituted many positive practices and that at the time of the report, the outbreak was contained to the isolation unit. However, it also noted 3 key deficiencies, saying there are concerns regarding the practices of the Mount Vernon home that may have contributed to the spread of COVID-19 amongst its veterans and staff. Those 3 points of concerns are, first, there is no evidence of general infection prevention and control policies and procedures. Second, education on procedures is not in compliance with COVID-19 guidance, including hand hygiene. And lastly, communication and directives from headquarters change frequently, creating confusion and inconsistent practices. The report says the administrator of the Mount Vernon home says earlier access to testing may have helped quickly identify positive staff. According to the report, one staff member reported symptoms of COVID-19 in September and was asked to continue working, which the report says the staff member attributed to low staffing. However, the Mount Vernon home has only reported 9 deaths, which is 4th lowest in the state, behind St. Louis, Mexico, and Warrensburg. According to the report, headquarters did not prepare or anticipate an outbreak and develop a plan. Instead, it relied solely on the state's guidance on influenza. Because of that, the report states one staff member says the staff felt it was, quote, flying by the seat of their pants in terms of COVID outbreak preparation. In Mount Vernon, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
We reached out to the Missouri Veterans Commission and the director of the Mount Vernon home. The MVC sent a statement saying, in part, quote, MVC has already implemented corrective actions identified internally or recommended in the independent review. The full statement and the full 415-page report are in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The Crawford County Health Department reports a couple more COVID-19 related deaths. One of the deaths happened last Wednesday, the other happened today. The county has now had 33 total deaths. A community college in Chanute, Kansas fails their entire nursing program. 22 students at the Mary Grimes School of Nursing in Neosho County Community College failed in the program thus far. After receiving emails from our viewers, we reached out to the school, which sent us a statement from the president, Brian Inbody. It says in part, quote, NCCC and the Mary Grimes School of Nursing is taking the matter very seriously. We've established a process and a timeline to hopefully agreeably resolve the immediate situation for the students and provide a long-term plan for program improvements at the LPN level in Chanute. Something like this has never happened before in the decades-long history of Mary Grimes School of Nursing, and we will ensure that it doesn't happen again. The school has not told us why the students failed, if they failed out of the entire program, or what course of action those students have now. We also reached out to a student who says they don't want to comment publicly at this time, but they did confirm that it involved the entire class. We've reached out to the Kansas Board of Regents and the Kansas Board of Nursing for further details, but have not yet heard back from them. Still ahead, as COVID-19 vaccines roll out, the U.S. surpasses another milestone for total deaths. We'll have the latest on the battle against the pandemic. And following the release of a controversial phone call involving President Trump, members of both parties respond. U.S. coronavirus deaths have surpassed 351,000. That's more than any other country. This as the vaccine rollout starts to pick up speed and tries to make up ground. Reporter Chris Martinez has the latest from Los Angeles, the nation's largest coronavirus hotspot.
In hard-hit Los Angeles, 1 in 5 people is now testing positive for COVID-19, and more than 7,000 are hospitalized.
This is the worst medical disaster that I've seen in over 30 years of practicing in emergency medicine.
ICUs are filled to capacity, and some hospitals have set up tents outside to help handle the surge. Here at Mission Hospital, they're not only facing a shortage of space, but also a shortage of oxygen. This is one of 6 LA hospitals where the Army Corps of Engineers has been called in to help upgrade the oxygen delivery systems. At a medical center in San Jose, 43 emergency department staff members were infected with the virus and 1 died after a staffer wore an air-powered costume. The costume's fan likely helped spread infected droplets through the air. COVID-19 took the lives of more than 77,000 people in December, making it the deadliest month so far. And healthcare professionals expect it will get worse, fueled by holiday travel and New Year's parties, like these in New York City and Los Angeles. The first American to get the vaccine back in December got her 2nd dose of the Pfizer vaccine today. Nurse Sandra Lindsay remains one of about 4.2 million who have been inoculated, far short of the 20 million promised by the Trump administration. Texas and Florida seniors waited in lines for hours.
We've been so scared for so many months, stuck in the house.
Now the head of the federal government vaccines distribution is proposing cutting the Moderna vaccine in half to speed up the rollout.
We know it induces identical immune response.
The FDA will meet this week to consider the idea. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The city of Indianapolis will host the entire 2021 NCAA men's basketball tournament. A bubble is going to be established similar to that of the NBA's in Orlando. Doug Hetty is up next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later how lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are responding to controversial leaked audio of a phone call between President Trump and the top election official in Georgia.
Well, a couple nice days after the rain, the ice, and several days of little rounds of snow that we have had across the region. And it really turned out to be a nice Monday for us today with sunny skies, high temps into lower 50s. But if we look at our snow stats, we're at 4 inches now for the season, and then a half an inch of ice, which is a lot of ice. Average is 12, forecast is 15. So we're moving right along on our snow for the season. Next storm system moves in Wednesday and Thursday. That could give us a little bit of snow, rain over to snow. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Cooling back down behind it, we have another little system on Sunday. Of course, you can go to my month-long blog that has my long-range forecasted posted out through the month. Temperatures right now, we're dropping back. Still not bad. Nevada 41, 46 in Neosho, 46 in Miami. We have Pittsburgh 41. Indy is sitting at 46 degrees. We had south winds early, and then you can see a front drop through. So our winds switched out of the northwest. Kind of breezy at times today, but the winds are diminishing. So they're going to be light northerly winds tonight. They'll crank out of the south again tomorrow. That's going to help our temperatures warm right back up. Through the evening, we'll slide back through the 30s, eventually mid-20s. So another cold night. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of patchy fog across the region once again. But clear skies now. Had a few clouds earlier this morning. These are off toward the east. And then pretty much clear skies across Central Plains. Here's our next storm system, the Pacific Northwest. This system will dig out through the Rockies into the southern plains by the time we head into Wednesday, also into Thursday. Now, until then, we look okay. We are going to get some patchy fog in here again later on tonight, especially on the Missouri side. Temperatures kind of cold. We'll drop back mid-20s, and then a quick warm-up. We'll start to see those winds switch around to the south, 50 by noon. High temp all the way up to about 55 during the afternoon. So it looks great across the entire region. Clouds increase for us tomorrow night. Here's our next storm system. We could get a little bit of drizzle or even some random showers in as early as Wednesday morning. Showers increase throughout the daytime hours on Wednesday. It's not going to be heavy rain. It's just going to be light showers, kind of cold, kind of nasty. Highs into low to mid 40s. This system is a slow mover. It kind of rotates through, but it takes about a day to do it. So we'll continue with the showers as we head into Wednesday night. And then here's early Thursday morning. You can see a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue popping up, which is a rain-snow mix and some snow. So on the backside, we could switch over to a little bit of snow. So that's something we got to watch. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal just because temperatures are going to hover right around or just above freezing, but still something we'll watch over the next couple days and see how this whole system kind of organizes as it begins to push through. But tomorrow looks great. 55, partly sunny skies. Rain chances increase as we work through the daytime hours on Wednesday. Chances will increase during the morning hours, but our best shot will be in the afternoon into the overnight hours and then tapering off by Thursday afternoon, which could end with a little bit of snow. Friday, sunshine returns, 44, 42 on Saturday. Could get some light snow showers on Sunday, but the best day of the week is tomorrow. So make sure if you do want to get a little bit of fresh air, that's the day to do it.
Yeah, high of 55, and we'll see the sun.
Yeah, pretty good.
Not bad for January. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, reaction to a controversial call.
A stunning phone call between President Trump and Georgia's Secretary of State has some calling for a criminal investigation. I'm Natalie Brand with who has now launched an inquiry.
Fallout continues 2 days after the president asked Georgia's top election officials to find him more votes. The incident is causing a rift in a Republican Party that's already at odds over plans to challenge the counting of Electoral College votes in Congress this week. Reporter Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
House Democrats are urging the FBI to open a criminal investigation into President Trump's stunning one-hour phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more that we have, because we won the state.
A source familiar with the matter tells CBS News the Saturday call was the first time the two parties spoke since Election Day, despite 18 prior attempted calls from the White House.
We're going to follow the law, follow the process. Truth matters.
Democrats have uniformly condemned the phone call. On Fox News Channel, members of the president's party gave mixed reaction.
I didn't hear anything in that tape that the president hasn't already said for weeks now.
This call was not a helpful call.
Congressional Republicans are also split over plans by dozens of GOP lawmakers to object to Wednesday's counting of Electoral College votes.
Ohio Senator Rob Portman is one of the latest Republicans to come out against the plan, saying in a statement, "I cannot support allowing Congress to thwart the will of the voters." The objections are expected to temporarily delay, but not overturn certification of the results.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States of America, notwithstanding the delusional fantasies of some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
President Trump lashed out at Republicans who have refused to challenge the results on Twitter, calling them the, quote, surrender caucus. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Democratic Congressman Hank Johnson of Georgia says he's going to introduce a resolution to issue a strong rebuke of the president's call through censure. The IRS is asking people to not call their offices with questions about the latest round of economic impact or stimulus payments. The agency is instead telling people to go to their website, irs.gov, for more information. Officials say many people have been calling IRS offices, but the phone operators don't have any additional information beyond what is available at irs.gov. Final look at the weather up next. Take time now to honor a local veteran of the U.S. Air Force. Lance Corporal John Nolan served from 1954 to 1977. The Joplin native earned more than 20 medals and citations, including 2 Silver Stars, 2 Flying Crosses, and 2 Bronze Stars. And we are proud to salute Lance Corporal John Nolan. He's tonight's 4-state hero. More than 300 million people, that's how many folks flew in 2020. Although about half of those travelers flew during the first 3 months of the year before the coronavirus pandemic set in. It's a 61% drop from 2019, but still it's a good chunk of people considering months of public health guidance to not travel. The new tally comes on the heels of a pandemic air travel record set on Sunday. On that day alone, more than 1.3 million people passed through TSA checkpoints at airports all across our nation. Checking back in with Doug Hetty now for a final look at the weather.
Yeah, and it's going to be a cold night for us tonight. We may even get a little bit more patchy fog, so watch out for that if you are going to be on the roadways. But tomorrow looks great. Partly sunny skies, 55, so even warmer than what we did see today. Rain increases during the daytime hours on Wednesday, and then a little rain-snow mix Wednesday night over and into Thursday. Could even switch over to all snow. So we're going to be watching that next storm system. I'll have the latest on that, and of course, tonight at 10.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. We will see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.